What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle for the next episode of Stranded Deep. My name is Splattercat, and I'm happy to have you here today as we hang out for a little while. And actually, I just got done moving all of our stuff in between islands, so we should be pretty good to go right there. I think that's been resolved in a way that is satisfactory. I don't know. It checks the box. That's all that I'm really looking for right now. Let's throw a bunch of this stuff on the ground, because I'm not going to worry about it for right now. So I threw it on the ground. You don't know me and all that fun stuff. I think I can probably afford to get away with that for right now. We'll grab a machete. And in today's episode, what I had wanted to do is I had actually really wanted to deforest this island. And so that's what we're going to start out with. I'm going to try and drag over some of the trees. I do think we're going to have wood shortage issues here, which is a little bit disappointing, but it's something that happens in this game. So, you know, it happens when it happens, and then you just kind of like learn to deal with it. So let's pick up the axe. I don't want to waste my machete doing something, you know, droll and mundane like chopping down trees. Instead, we'll just use a crude axe for all of this. But really what I like to do when I start out is I just deforest the entire island, because that's going to give you a pretty good head count of how many sticks and things that you have. Now, as I recall, crafting in this game used to be fairly intensive with all of the things that you needed. Not in terms of like the variety of items, but in terms of the fact that you needed like a ton of sticks, a ton of rocks, a ton of lashings just to do like the simplest thing. And so if that's still the case, I think that this is definitely not going to be sufficient enough to get us up and running with a base, but at least it'll be enough to where I can figure out what I need to bring back from other islands. I do wish that the storage space had expanded a little bit, but other than that, in terms of where the game is at right now, I actually like the new UI. I think the UI it's delightfully minimalistic is what I will say, and it actually reminds me a little bit of Rust. Is this tree actually chopping? Or is it just like draining my durability and not accomplishing anything? Somehow I feel like it was the latter, because now it's moving when I hit it, but it wasn't doing that before. Cool. And so what I want to do now is we're going to bring this all back, and this also has a dual purpose. So in our survival situation right now, there's a couple things we want to lock down, shelter being a major one, because the winds can whip in this situation. Now, you're so far out that you don't really have to worry too much about the tide, I wouldn't think. I think tides only matter coastally, I think. However, I could be wrong about that one. The tide could affect these islands, in which case, I would actually say that the islands need to be a lot bigger in order to properly reflect the fact that the tide goes up and down. Because right now, this island doesn't strike me as being tall enough to really withstand a high tide. But anyways, the first thing that I would want to do in this situation is I would first panic, wet myself, and be very upset and be like, oh my god, I'm going to die. However, the second thing that I would do after that, so are we chopping right here? How are we doing? Good. I like to see it when it starts to lift up like that. Make ourselves a little notch on the end. If you're chopping down a tree, by the way, in case you don't know, you chop downwards, then you chop upwards, downwards, and you make like a little wedge shape. It'll look like an arrowhead. So you chop downwards a couple times, and you chop upwards a couple times, and it'll take a big wedge of wood out of the side of the tree. I don't know, for people that's dads or whoever else never taught them how to chop wood. Just saying, if you're chopping down a tree, that's the quickest way to get it done, so bear that in mind. But still, I'd be focusing on getting a lean-to that you can put towards the side that gets the most wind, so I guess the windward side of the island. Once you get that done, every island has a windward side and a stoss side, or a stoss and a leeward, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't remember, it's been a long time. Either way, there's a windy side of the island, and there's a not windy side of the island due to obvious reasons. There's also a dry side of the island, and there's a rainy side of the island, because what happens is that when cloud cover gets to the island, it tends to dump its load on the front end when it's forced up into higher altitudes to go over the island, as I recall. And so it causes the air to condense because it gets colder, it rains for a little while, and then by the time it gets to the opposite side of the island, they're all out of rain, and so blah, 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 there's no rain left. So there's a dry side and a wet side. Obviously, we're not going to have that problem because our island is freaking tiny. However, just saying, I would make a shelter, a lean-to facing the windward side. It's a smart idea. You put the fire on the edge of that. Typically, you would want to use some of these rocks to your advantage, too, in building your shelter, because rocks are actually pretty good at reflecting and storing warmth, and every unit of warmth lost is a major loss for you. So, for example, what I'm talking about here is what I would recommend is if you're going to build a lean-to, you would build the lean-to, so let's say that the wind is coming from that direction right there. You'd put the lean-to on this side with the open side facing the direction we're facing. You would put your fire along the side of the rock right here, and then what will happen is when you lay down next to it, the rock is actually going to bounce that heat back at you. It's going to be a pretty good idea. In addition, you can actually stack up little stones along this side right here too, just like you do in Don't Starve. They're called fire stones, and actually my grandma used to use them way back in the day. She used to walk to school in the snow, and she talks about using fire stones and also using hot potatoes. But anyways, they would heat up potatoes and stones before they would go to school in the morning, and you would put them into your pockets so that they would be super hot and they would keep you warm during your walk. It's an old school thing that they used to do, but hey, when you get prehistoric like this, it's actually one of those things that's pretty smart to do, and we got a lot of rocks around, so I'd be debating it. I would highly be debating it. You would also want to keep your fire running the entire time if you didn't have a lighter anyways. You want to make sure the fire never goes out, because if it does, that sucks for you. Getting a fire lit by hand is one of the hardest things ever. I can't do it. I mean, I've tried multiple times, and I just do not have the skill. There's a timing to it as well. It's almost like a rhythmic thing, which is what I think a lot of people don't realize too. This one doesn't look like it's chopping. Let's try from this direction. Come on, tree. You're taking my durability right now, but you're not looking like you're getting chopped down. This is a newer bug that I've had happen when I was doing my research for the series, because I always try and play for like an hour before I boot up a series, just to refresh my memory as to how things work. There we go. Now it's chopping. I don't know, it might be chopping. It's just not doing the movement thing that it normally does, and it's throwing me off. I like to pile up my trees, and then I chop them in between episodes so that I don't bore you guys with them. Getting all the trees out of the way. This used to be a bad idea in earlier versions just because the trees would despawn. Now they don't anymore, so you don't have to worry about it, but I still chop them down at the beginning, and I take care of business there because it makes me happy. I got everything deforested. Looks nice. Hey, what are you doing right now? What, you got an invulnerability shit? Yep, working out pretty good for me. I am the invulnerable tree of the island. Bask in my radiant glory. I'm like, I'll bask in your radiant falling the hell over when I build stuff out of your body. He's like, no, it's so painful. I am decidedly less invincible than I thought I was. So disappointed right now. That brochure lied. All right, and so we've got that done. I'm going to try and get the lashings and everything taken care of right now as well. And I also think it's a pretty bright idea to pick up all the coconuts along the way, too, so that we have, like, I don't know, 7 or 8 days worth of food. I think these will be a good plan, too. So we got the potato plants right there. We're full up. We got 4 coconuts. Let me run around one more time and make sure that I didn't miss any coconuts along the way, because 2 to 3 coconuts will keep you lasting for a couple days in this setting. So we'll grab that right there. It's important to note, too much coconut, bad for the tummy, will make you poop, but all things considered, coconut is actually a wondrous, it's kind of like an avocado. It's just a really, really good survival food. Because when it comes to survival foods, what you're ultimately looking for is something that is really, really calorie dense and oily. I think you can also use coconut meat to light a fire. I remember reading that somewhere. Maybe you leave the milk out and let it dry or something like that, and then it becomes like an oil. But anyways, there's some way to use a coconut to light a fire, I thought. I'm having trouble thinking of the technique right now. I'll try and look it up in between episodes. We don't have a lot of lashings. That's going to negatively affect us. We don't have a lot of stone. Probably going to hurt us. Actually, it's partially because a lot of this stuff is pulling a runner on us, and it's not in the pile with everything else. There we go. That looks a little bit better. We still don't have a lot of rocks. So let me have a look around and make sure that I didn't miss any, because sometimes they are very, very easy to miss. We got a potato plant right here. Potato, potato. You say potato, I say potato. I also say delicious because I love potatoes. Potatoes are fantastic, especially with a little bit of those chives, that sour cream and whatnot. This is what you're worried about right here. It's actually pretty amazing how quickly you can go hypothermic, and it is 64 degrees out right now with no clothing on, no shelter and wet. You can definitely go hypothermic at 64 degrees. I promise you that. It seems like it's a high temperature to go hypothermic in, but people froze to death. Like, there were shipwrecks in the past where the water was in a tropical area, and it's time versus your body temperature. And so if you're in water that's like 75 degrees, that's pretty warm water, but eventually it'll bring you down. I mean, let's say 79 degree water. Let's make it even more, generous. 79, 80 degree water. Your body temperature will still lower over time, and that's bad for you. So anyways, in this situation, they haven't implemented it into the game just yet. It sounds like there's a dog barking in the right ear of my microphone, or my headphone. I don't wear my microphone on my head. I wear headphones on my head because they got the word head inside of them. Head, 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 head. Anyway, there's not a whole lot left to do right now. You can't really navigate or do anything while the rainstorm is going. And so, being a little bit disappointed by the things that were available, or I guess available to be scavenged on this island, let me see about making a spear, and we'll start killing off some crabs and getting those going too. Be proactive with your time. That's a big survival skill as well, is if you're not using your time to the utmost extent, you're actually failing, because everything in a survival situation is a measure of time and efficiency. And so I don't remember how to break a rock. I think you do it with an axe or something. I don't know. Let me see here. I do think these break eventually. Yeah, there it is. And it'll give you a rock shard. I remember that being a thing. And so let's take some sticks and some lashing. And I think we can make a spear. And you don't really need one, but I like using one. It makes me happy. So anyways, we'll make a crude spear. There it is right there. And so now we got ourselves a spear. And so let us take heed of the moment, and we shall stab some stuff over on this side. Maybe catch some fish. These little guys right here actually aren't that worth it. I don't think they fill you up very much, but spear fishing, they're also hard to hit, so there it is. Got ourselves a sardine. We'll take him off the edge right there. Another one right there. This is going to be a long, hungry way to earn your dinner. Spearfishing's a pain in the ass, and it takes a lot of skill to do it. It's one of those things you learn to do over a long period of time because of the refraction of the water. Typically how people spear hunt, I mean, the Japanese style is that they dive down in and they spear hunt like so. So they dive down and they spear hunt. The native style was to stand in the water, although I would have to quote that a little bit better. I don't think that I'm totally 100. Ooh, what's up, giant fish? You made the mistake of being ostentatious. Oh, you're a discus? Well, you're about to be a stabus. And so there it is. Alright, discus impalus. It sounds important, and so therefore I figure it is. You've actually got to have them targeted like that. An archer fish, are those the ones that shoot water out of their eyeballs to hit like bugs that are flying around? It's a pretty dope fish. I don't know if that's called the archer fish, but I remember there's a fish that shoots water out of its eyeballs to catch other fish, and it's pretty badass. I don't know how big these are if they make a good meal, but it's something we can cook along the way, so whatever. We got a frontosa right there. I think those are named that because of the big lobe that they have on the front of their head. I don't know. It seems to make sense logically. I could be wrong. It's happened many, many times in the past. I don't want to make a fire right now because that means I have to stock it with sticks. And so unfortunately we're not going to be able to cook any of this up, but what we can do is we can add it to the food pile, which is pretty cool. I don't think we have to worry about anything rotting right now. I don't think that mechanic is in game just yet. And so we'll throw you guys over here. They all still use the same tooltip right now. So those look to be a little bit bigger than the sardines. Probably a little bit more satisfying too. That'll help us last a while. I'll probably eat some of these potatoes right now, just so I don't have to worry about rehydrating, and, well, we should probably rehydrate. Let's go ahead and break open a coconut real fast. We'll throw this one over here. You have been selected in the trials of the coconut, and now you will die, and I shall puncture a hole in you. I love that noise it makes when you pop open the coconut. I think I brought that up the last time I played, too. Makes me very, very happy. Not like delirious with happiness, but it still makes me pretty happy. And so now we wait out the rain. I'll be right back. So I think we're going to try something dangerous here. I'm going to try and swim across, since we had flippers, right? We got flippers, as I recall. And so anyways, since we got flippers in the first episode, I think it might be kind of cool to try and swim to another island just using the flippers, because it seems like they are faster. Like, seriously, look how fast we swim right now. Like, we swim gangster fast right now. And so I'm not sure that using the raft is a wise idea. The raft might actually be slower than... Oh my god, the raft might actually be slower than the implements that we have available to us. I don't see any other islands, though, which is actually sort of worrying. Like, do you see that, too? Like, this is actually kind of like open space right now that I've never seen before. The only downside to this whole thing would be that we might run into problems orienteering, but that wouldn't matter if I could just find, actually... So that's east right there. And so that would be northish, that would be southish, and that would be westish. Well, let's go see what we can find real fast. It's odd that islands aren't showing up right now. Usually you have a pretty wide viewpoint of them. What am I stuck on right now? Hopefully I'm not stuck on you. Am I stuck on you? Well, if I'm stuck on you, I'm sure there's a good reason for it. You're probably a wonderful person. Yeah, we might not be able to make this one work. We might have to go out and look elsewhere. I don't know where we landed. I'll have to take a look at where our raft is positioned, but that'll be where we came from in the first place. And then after that... Wasting a little bit of time here, but it's okay. I just ate a snack pack, so it's all good. While I was doing that break, I was like running around doing stuff, and I was like, you know what I need right now? I need some crackers that you can dip up in some fake-ass cheese. Oh, yeah. The kitten loves me right now. He's just like, you are my favorite friend. He wants some cheesy crackers very, very badly. And unfortunately, he can't have cheesy crackers. So I'm going to swim with my spear for right now because it makes me feel better. Oh, look, I can mount the spear somehow in my body. I like that. A chest-mounted spear. Respect the ambition. You got to do what you got to do. I am the primitive version of a cyborg right now. I am the original iteration of the battle-hardened robot. A spear in my chest, both hands free to do whatever the hell I want. Although technically I think it's being held in one of my other hands. Yeah, there it is right there. Huh. I think that buoy might have been where I came from. Unless there's multiple buoys. Yeah, it looks like there is. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We gotta find a new island to go through here. And unfortunately, in order to keep my facing proper, I gotta go back to our island. Once we find a compass, this will not be a problem any longer. Oh my god! Kitten just fell out of my chair and used my stomach as a belay to catch himself. Ow! Kittens have claws. I took him to the vet, and the veterinarian actually trimmed his claws, so they're not quite as bad as they used to be. But, oh, the sun is setting. Oh. Isn't that odd? Okay. The sun never does that. How dare the sun do such a weird phenomenon that never actually happens in the real world? Setting. Come on. Anyways, let's swim to a new island, shall we? I want to see how this works, so I'm not going to cut the... Normally, I would cut the tape right here, just because... I guess it's not a tape, is it? This is a digital recording line. Fish? No. Anyways, as I was saying, normally I would cut the recording right here because it's boring watching me swim in between locations. But I'm actually interested in testing this out and see how quickly we can go in between locations, so this might work out pretty well. I don't know. Let's get some oxygen back. I'll keep an eye out for a buoy out here. I'm a little bit... I don't know. The game still has that thing where the islands at your periphery look like they're closer than the islands that are like at the center of your vision. I don't know what causes that. It's got to have something to do with the field of view or something like that. But anyways, the point that I'm getting at right here is that I wanted to keep this experience in the episode. Oh, shit. Well, that's not good. All we can do now is hope that with the flippers we're faster than a shark. I'm not even going to turn around and try and figure out where it's at right now. I'm just going to run it. Forget it. Turn on the afterburners. Keep this thing going. Let's ride. We're not riding the lightning, but we're definitely doing something very, very risky right now. I don't know what just happened, but the screen just flashed, and it was weird, and it was scary, and it made me nervous for a moment. I don't think we ditched him. Like, I think he's still on us. But, oh, if I go back to the original island, I'm going to be... It looks like there's multiple buoys in between almost every single island that we're going to right now. And so that's what threw me off, is that the other island had a buoy too. So if we're going back to the original island, this won't be a total waste. I'll grab all the sticks and everything and bring them back with me. It's a little bit disappointing knowing that there's a shark out here right now, but I guess we'll make it work. I do feel like I'm a lot faster than the shark, and so, hey, how many people can add that to the resume? Faster than a shark. I challenge you the next time you apply for a job to add that on in. Like, skill sets. Faster than your average shark. The faster sharks can keep up with me, but your average sharks to your low average sharks, they have no chance whatsoever. I think we're going back to the original island right now. This is going to suck. Do I have my flashlight on? Oh, I kind of do. Alright. Well, we might be able to flash a shark to death. We'll scare it, be like, away with you, sea demon! Away with you! That clicking noise, really, nothing's happening right now. Oh, well. I think this might be faster. It's either faster or it's the same speed. Either way, paddling is lame and it makes me sad, so forget paddling. Come on, you can make it. Looks like there's a bunch of wrecks out here, too. That gets me excited. Did you say wreck? Gets me very, very excited. I brought the spear along so that I can leave it on the edge of the island if I need to. We'll swim back out this way in just a minute. We'll see if any of these wrecks have anything lucrative for us to take back home. Because I do think we have a couple of the parts. We got the engine, and do we have a carburetor? I don't know. I've had to re-record this series like 8 times now because things keep going wrong. And so they're all bleeding together at this point. I can't remember what I have done or haven't done in this playthrough. Maybe this is a different island. I don't know. This could get a little bit odd. Then again, it is the Nerd Castle, so things have a tendency to do that around here. So is that one hater of the crowd like, no, actually, your content is incredibly mundane. I'm like, well, I mean, I like the wordage right there, so thank you. If I'm going to be insulted, I very much prefer that you do it with prose, and you do it, just use a word that gets outside of your box. And I know mundane is not that complicated, but it's better than what I'm used to on the internet where, you know, the real foundations of literature seem to begin and end at you are. So anyways, is this the island we've already been to? I think that's our guy right there. So let me throw the spear down real fast. And then we'll kind of try and like point it too at the same time. So that it's like vaguely going in the right direction. There we go. That sort of works. Let's have a look around. I think, no, there's sticks laying around. I don't think I would leave sticks behind. Or rocks. So I think we did a pretty good job. I think we found a new place. Which means that we get to loot the hell out of this beezy. So let's get up in here. Treasure chests? Yeah, treasure chests. Got ourselves a flare. So, I'm going to take the flare. Did I drop the flare? That was an accident. I didn't mean to drop my flare. Yeah. And now we throw it, and now it provides negligible light. Well, hopefully they'll bring that up to spec. Hopefully they'll bring that up to snuff in the future. Flares are pretty bright. I love magnesium flares. They are super fun. They are one of those toys that as an adult I play with all the time. Magnesium flares are a blast. Like, wee, it's burning. It's a stick made of fire. And it also has a cool color. What's not to like? It's colorful, it's fiery. Playing with fire has never been more fun than with flare. Alright, some more fish. Let's be careful about the way that we embark onto this little adventure. Go back up to the surface real fast. And what is that? Can I touch it? I can. It's got a clipping plane of its own. A clipping plane of its own. A video game story. Inspirational, if need be. Alright, is there anything on the back deck over here? Always check the back deck. The back deck's always got the good shit. If it ain't got a back deck, I ain't worried about it. What do we got going on? So we got a locker with a bucket of seawater. We got another flashlight right there. We've got another machete. I would love to not suffocate today. So if we could keep that out of our list of things to do, that would be great. If it's in our list of things to do, I shall go boo-hoo. And then say yoo-hoo to the whole series because I will have died like 150 times now. No, the last time I lost footage because like my recording software crashed and it ruined like 3 episodes. It was heartbreaking. I died a little bit inside. Deep down, I had to post on Twitter about it. It was the only way. I had to vent about it somehow. Deep down inside, I felt like a piece of myself was gone. The flare does provide a reasonable amount of smoke right there. That's pretty cool. I didn't expect that to be the case, but it works out. Let me dump some of this stuff back on the island next to the flare, and then we'll go out to those 2 wrecks right there. I don't know if you could see them right, the one on the side right there. But anyways, with like YouTube's kind of odd like that because I render this in a quality where you should be able to see all the things that are happening on screen. But when it goes up on YouTube, they compress the bitrate down to like nothing. And so unfortunately, a lot of detail gets lost when it goes up on YouTube. I don't want any buckets of seawater. So flip those real fast. And once they've emptied out, yeah, it looks like they're empty now. Throw the rocks and the sticks. We'll make some hard decisions about what we wanted to bring back with us in just a minute. But for right now, I feel like we're doing pretty well. Let's go get these last 2 wrecks. Hopefully that'll eat up a couple of minutes. And then we'll be able to break off the episode. Little starfish right there. Are starfish edible? I wouldn't risk it. I don't know. Starfish don't seem like they would be edible. I'm sure every starfish in the audience right now is arguing the case and being like, no, no, we are definitely not edible. It looks like that's bugged. Unfortunately, it happens from time to time with the level editor. That console, I can't tell what's inside of it. Oh, we got an engine. Cool. I think we already have an engine, but another one doesn't hurt. Oh, look, it glitched out through the bottom right here. It's got duct tape in it. Good. I was able to get the stuff out of it. That's usually all that I care about. It bums me out when there's wrecks and, like, the chest is halfway inside the wall and you can't get it out. Really, really, not, like, frustrating or irritating or anything. It's just kind of saddening. Ah, there's the chest. Another flare, just in case we wanted to light this mother up. And I will. I'm going to set this entire island on fire. I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to set a flame on your island. That's pretty much the only part of it. I love setting things on fire. It's so fun. I got in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. I always had a lighter, and I was always getting in trouble with it. I still do that from time to time. My girlfriend yells at me. She'd be like, I really wish you'd put that lighter away. But I'm like, but it's so fun. It's such an awesome thing. The guy that invented fire is my jam. Like, I love that guy. He is the best. Throw that over there. All right, so we got a whole bunch of flares running around. A couple more sticks. Some duct tape. We'll have to decide from all of this what we want to take back with us. It looks like there may be another wreck quite a ways out there. Luckily, we've got flippers, so it's not that big of a deal. I highly recommend that you night dive unless it's too deep. So that's going to be the caveat right there. You should night dive because it's easier to see the bubbles at night, and you'll be able to locate things better. I do wish that you could make floaties, like some kind of buoy or something that you could actually just like leave sitting out there. If you had something like that, it would make life a lot easier so that you could mark the wrecks at night. And then once you've marked the wreck, oh my god, here. This kitten is driving me insane. Literally driving me insane. He's climbing up my microphone right there. Got all tangled up in the wire and I had to detangle him. But anyways, if you could make a buoy of some sort, it would be totally freaking awesome because then you could leave them floating up above the areas with the wrecks. And I think that would be a great way to actually mark your progress and figure out the locations where you've been. Another jerry can right there. Ooh, we got a shark. Okay. Where is he? I'm going to focus on getting back to land real quick. I don't know how close or how far away he is, but I'd rather not risk it. I don't want to get any serious wounds right now that we have to deal with before the end of the episode. We've got bandages galore. We've got lots of cloth, so it's not that big of a deal, but I just would prefer to not be bleeding anytime soon. The sharks are very, very aggressive right now, and so you got to watch out for them. The developers actually upgraded them a little bit. I don't know if it's an upgrade or a downgrade. Some people seem to think one, some people seem to think the other. I liked how it was before, where the sharks actually only attacked you if you were bloody in the water, but now they're pretty aggressive no matter how you're feeling, so I've got a machete. It should take care of the issue. I'm sure that there's still a crate or something out there that we missed, but when I get sharks in the dark, it makes me hark and be like, nah, I'm up out of this park. No thank you. I don't see anything else over here, so what I'm going to do for right now, I'm going to gather this stuff up. We'll take it back to the original island. And from there, I think it'd be a pretty swell idea just to keep exploring until we have all the parts for the engine. I think it's a really, really, really good plan. And so anyways, I will see you all in the next episode. Take care out there, everybody, and hi-do.